We have our last speaker now of this panel, and it's Apostolos Saltas. I already introduced him very briefly, but now we have Apostolos with us. He's the head of Renewable Energy Sources Department of DEPA. Apostolo has been working on different elements of energy activities, and he's coming from a different background because, as I understand, Apostolos, you're not a lawyer, and Philip is not a lawyer either. He's an economist. Apostolos, you work as an engineer on many different aspects, and you're going to talk to us about storing two things. So, storing as batteries, so electricity, but you're all going also to mention storage as carbon capture storage, CCS. So I would like to hear what you have to say, Apostolos. The floor is all yours. Thank you so much for joining us. And then after you're finished, Apostolos, I would like to invite all the rest of the speakers of the panel for just one quick question that is trying to summarize some of the discussions that we have here. Thank you, Apostolos.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Ignacio. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and we can see you well.
Great. Okay. Good morning. First of all, I would like to say that it's a great honor to be here with you today at this important conference. I'm the department head of renewable energy sources here at DEPA, the Public Gas Corporation, and I would like to start my speech by saying that for many years, the conversation about decarbonization centered almost exclusively on renewable energy sources. And rightly so, renewables are the backbone of the transition. But today we understand something much deeper. Renewables alone cannot deliver the energy future we need. The system of the future must also be stable, controllable, efficient, and resilient. This brings us to the strategic role of energy storage and CCS, not as optional add-ons, but as fundamental pillars of a modern energy architecture. Why storage and CCS? Let me say that storage restores controllability. It converts variable renewable power into flexible, dispatchable energy. It eliminates the gap between production and demand, and it turns intermittent resources into reliable system assets. Meanwhile, CCS addresses the emissions we cannot eliminate through electrification. So when we speak about climate neutral systems, we are really speaking about the three main things. Renewables, the renewables clean the electrons, storage stabilizes and monetizes flexibility, and CCS tackles the residual emissions. So these three technologies form the complete decarbonization chain. Let's go now to storage as a regulated asset. Historically, regulation focused on generation and transmission, but the modern grid requires a new category of infrastructure, operational flexibility. Storage is not merely an investment opportunity, it is critical system infrastructure, especially as renewables penetration increases. Treating storage as a regulated asset reflects a fundamental truth. Without flexibility, renewables cannot succeed at scale. So this regulatory shift is happening across Europe, adapting its framework to allow storage to provide system services once delivered by thermal units. Now, we have three strategic use cases for energy storage. So when it comes to energy storage, there are three strategic use cases, and we will discuss each of them in more detail in the next slides. As we transition from centralized thermal power to decentralized renewables, the role of energy storage becomes strategic. And why is that? First, storage ensures the grid stability by maintaining the delicate 50 Hz frequency balance, responding rapidly to supply-demand mismatches. Second, in terms of adequacy, storage becomes crucial as demand grows. Without it, the grid could fail to supply power during peak conditions or when renewables underperform, especially under extreme weather conditions. And lastly, storage boosts renewables viability by aligning generation with price signals and demand. This not only makes renewable projects more profitable, but also enhances their system value. These three use cases define why storage is now a core infrastructure element and not just a market participant. So now let's go to the grid stability. Maintaining a grid stability frequency of 50 Hz is not optional, it is foundational. Every appliance in Europe is designed to operate at that standard. Even slight deviations, if sustained, can trigger cascading failures. Historically, this stability came from the inertia of rotating masses in thermal plants. But as we retire fossil-based generation and introduce inverter-based renewables, we lose that natural inertia. Energy storage steps in, offering near instantaneous frequency response. Batteries can detect and react to deviations within milliseconds, often faster than traditional systems ever could. Furthermore, batteries can be placed near grid stress points to provide localized support, ensuring that both urban and remote areas benefit from frequency resilience. This makes energy storage not just a technological upgrade, but a grid-wide stabilizing force. The grid adequacy is about more than just having enough installed capacity. It's about ensuring that power is available when and where it's needed. With electrification of transport, heating, and industry, peak demand is surging while renewable generation remains inherently variable. Energy storage steps in to smooth this mismatch. During sunny or windy periods, batteries charge. When conditions turn unfavorable, like cold or still nights, those batteries discharge to meet demand. This makes storage an indispensable asset for grid adequacy. It also enables peak saving where high loads during the evening are flattened, relieving stress on the grid. And most importantly, batteries deliver not just megawatts, but duration secure power, adding confidence to grid operators' adequacy assessments. Renewables are clean, but not always convenient. The sun shines, the wind blows on their own schedules, not when demand peaks. This leads to a temporal mismatch that undermines revenues and can even force curtailment of clean energy. Energy storage systems solve this by enabling price arbitrage. They charge when prices are low, often when renewables flood the market, and discharge when prices surge. This not only maximizes returns but also reduces waste. Moreover, batteries support the investment case for renewables. Stable, dispatchable output improves financing terms, attracts capital, and accelerates deployment. In this sense, storage doesn't just support renewables technically, it empowers them financially. Storage increases renewables investment certainty by first, recovering energy that would otherwise be curtailed. Second, improving price capture in competitive markets. Number three, reducing volatility risk. Number four, strengthening merchant exposure resilience. And and this is perhaps the greatest economic value of storage. It enhances and protects the investment case for renewables. One of the most misunderstood aspects of modern power system is that adequacy is no longer purely as a capacity issue, it's a temporal mismatch issue. Storage allows Europe to save peak demand without new generation, shift renewable production to the hours it is most valuable, increase system resilience during stress events, and limit reliance on expensive carbon-intensive reserves. Let me also talk about the Greek storage framework, and I can say that Greece has taken a pivotal step by structurally integrating energy storage into its national power planning. There is this 4.7 gigawatts battery program, which is not just about permits, it redefines the grid. For the first time, storage is spatially allocated based on grid constraints, aligned with rest saturation zones, and targeted to areas with voltage and inertia deficits. This transforms storage from a free market optional asset into a system-oriented infrastructure layer. By aligning storage deployment with real grid needs, like voltage instability and renewable saturation zones, the framework ensures that batteries deliver value where it matters. There is a project in Kozani. Kozani is in the northern part of Greece. There will be a hybrid system that signals the architecture of the future, if I'm allowed to say that. Clean and dispatchable and resilience-focused grids designed for the post-fossil era. With the phase-out of lignite, Western Macedonia faces not only an economic transition, but also a system stability deficit. The region experienced up to now loss of dispatchable generation, collapse of system inertia, and voltage regulation challenges. The regulatory solution is therefore not only new generation, but system service replacement. The strategic answer is the combination of batteries with synchronous condensers. Batteries provide ultra-fast active power, synchronous condensers restore inertia and fault level. The hybrid configuration defines the new architecture of a fossil-free grid. Building the climate neutral system. I can say that our journey to a climate neutral economy hinges on system intelligence, not just clean generation. This is not only about building solar panels or turbines, it's about building responsive, integrated ecosystems. Storage provides the bridge from variability to reliability. CCS offers the safety net for emissions we cannot avoid. And both require forward-looking policy, bankable markets, and strong digital infrastructure. We are not just transitioning energy, we are reinventing how entire systems behave and what is the true scale of the opportunity before us. This is one of my favorite slides about the reserve capacity advantage, and I would say that actually this slide captures one of the most powerful features of grid-scale battery storage. Its ability to deliver more power than its rated continuous output, but only for brief moments, right? So what you see in the graph is not theoretical. It reflects how battery systems can serve as the first responder to frequency drops. While a thermal plant may take seconds or minutes, a battery can react in under a second, providing crucial system stabilization. This diagram shows one of the key technical advantages of battery storage over conventional power plants. On the left, you see a battery with a rated continuous power of 50 megawatts, and on the right, the same battery is providing 100 megawatts of reserve power. This is possible because batteries respond almost instantaneously through power electronics and inverter overloading. While a conventional power plant needs several seconds or even minutes to ramp up, a battery reaches full reserve output in less than 1 second. In practical terms, this means that a 50 megawatt battery can temporarily behave like a 100 megawatt reserve unit, making it the most effective tool for fast frequency control and grid stability. This characteristic is a cornerstone of the business model for fast reserves, and it reinforces why software, hardware, and system design must be tightly integrated in modern energy systems. Permitting delays a system risk. One of the least appreciated yet most dangerous obstacles to grid modernization is permitting delay. Permitting is often perceived as an administrative step. In reality, it is a system risk factor. Delays shift projects out of viable price windows. Delays shift projects out of they weaken financial performance. They increase uncertainty and financing cost, and they expose developers to rapid technology price movements. In fast-moving sectors like storage and solar, a one-year delay can fundamentally alter the project's economics. Fast permitting is not a luxury, it is essential for system reliability and investment security. Delays in approval for grid connection, land use, or environmental licenses can erase the business case altogether. We must treat permitting speed not as an administrative matter, but as a core element of system reliability. Because every loss year is a missed opportunity to stabilize the grid and secure climate targets. Now, storage may be technically indispensable, but that doesn't mean it's financially viable. No investor funds batteries because they are green. They fund them because they generate predictable, policy-supported cash flows. Without market mechanisms that reward system services, batteries remain economically fragile. We need a banking layer in the market design, one that translates engineering value into investor-grade products. This means standardized ancillary services, minimum contract durations, penalty certainty, and transparency in dispatch. Only then we scale storage at the grid relevant levels. I have also a presentation about CCS, and I can say that CCS is not a backup plan, it's an essential player of industrial decarbonization. Many sectors emit CO2 from core processes, not energy use, making CCS the only viable solution. Europe is building a cross-border CCS ecosystem with hubs like the North Sea. But also Greece must move fast to secure its place in this network, particularly for cement and refining, the heavy industries here. Without clear regulation, financing tools, and long-term liability management, CCS cannot scale. We need climate policy that matches industrial reality. This graphic provides a comparative overview of Europe's geological CO2 storage potential. On the left, the map shows the theoretical storage capacity for each country expressed in gigatons, with both high and low estimates represented. And the circles illustrate the relative scale of potential storage, while the background shading highlights the major sedimentary basins where CO2 storage is geologically feasible. On the right, the chart presents a ranking of storage capacity estimates by country, distinguishing between high and low estimates and indicating the reliability level of the underlying assessments. Together, the two visuals reveal the significant variability across Europe, not only in total storage potential, but also in the quality and certainty of the available geological data. And I'm finishing now my presentation, and allow me to conclude with the central message of this presentation. We are no longer building energy projects, we are building energy systems. Renewables decarbonize power, storage stabilizes, controls, and monetizes flexibility. CCS addresses the emissions that renewables cannot touch, and digital optimization ties all three into a coherent, resilient system. Our responsibility as policymakers, market operators, developers, investors is not only to respond to today's challenges, but to build a system capable of supporting the next decades of electrification and climate ambition. We are not simply, Mr. Ignacio, transitioning, we are transforming. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. Hope wasn't too long.
Thank you so much, Apostolos. I like the idea what you say that we're not building energy projects, we're building energy systems, and I think that's something that we need. We need to take into account not only energy, but we need to take into account also mitigation measures, as you're speaking about CCS and storage, because this is an ecosystem of solutions if we want to achieve this.